PS, or I'll just say second half of the first recording, to basically fasting. Many people over the years have often asked us, when we are in fasting season, which is springtime, the whole 90 days. Well, it's a never ending story. Okay, it's a 360. When people ask me about it, it's just never ending, but a person can always research it through Google, YouTube, etc. But if we could explain it in two important facts, okay, lightning speed ways, basically you're pretty much whatever works for you, whether it's 25%, 50%, 75%. Most people aren't going to reach 50% or even 75% out of 100%. If you're a beginner with fasting, it's just best to start with 10%, whatever, you know, um, you're trying to fast with. If you smoke, it's going to be cutting back on smoking. If you watch too much, TV, or your cell phone, your laptop, activity time, video games. Um, if you, it's just never ending story. If you eat too much fast food, if you drink too much, if you play too much lottery, whatever it is, okay, and all ages can fast. You're just cutting back. Most people start off 5%, 7%, 10%. You got to start somewhere. Moving on. Okay, I'm trying to jump around this one-page letter. As a note reference, basically, to better explain why fast is so important and why spring is the most awesome time. Okay, here it is. Just like our bodies have a stomach, guess what? Your mind and your soul has a stomach as well. So you wouldn't want to, how should I say it? You wouldn't. We all know that you have to be careful what you put in your mind and your soul. Well, a lot of people know. I'll take that back. But it's the same way with over absorbing. And most of us, many of us, especially if you live here in the US, we absorb so much during the holidays. So, as I made in the first recording, just like you're wiping down a table, you have to wring it out to clean the soap, for example, but you're constantly trying to wipe it out, wipe it, collect water and soap. Or, if you're washing a car, you have to wring your towel out, but you're constantly trying to gather soap and water. I'm trying not to laugh. Okay, you finally say, okay, this is enough. I'm gonna wring it out. Okay, your mind and your soul operate the same way. You have to wring it out. Okay. Um, so yeah, your mind has absorbed a lot in the fall and in the winter time in most cases. Especially if you live here in the US, because we celebrate a lot here in the USA. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, jumping around. Let's see. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the fastest way. You know, that's the fastest way to explain it. It's a never-ending story. But I'll leave with this thought. Even though as martial artists, when we first get in martial arts school, they teach us yoga, stretching, meditating, etc. As time goes on, we forget this. We forget this as martial artists, that we have to do a U-turn, turn around, and go back to our roots. And the springtime is the best time to do it. Okay. Um, yeah. I fast 200 days on average out of a year, but didn't start off that way. It started off as just a few days in the spring, a few days in the fall, and blah blah blah. You know, maybe I think it was when I first started, maybe 14 days maximum when I first started in fasting at age 19. But it moved, of course, all seasons. A day here, a day there, 3 days here, 3 days there. Now it's like 200 times a year. 200 days a year, I'm sorry. And whether I'm at work or whether I'm at a grocery store or whatever, I'm fasting. Whether I'm around people, I'm fasting. You can fast with others. You can fast with your friends and family. It's a never ending story. But all it really is just cutting back. Um, that's about it. So, for my case, all of spring, at least a week or two in the fall, and a week or two in the winter. Weekends, automatic. It's usually going to be a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's just the first half of the day, you know, After 12, the fasting stops. So everyone has their own fast, what works for them. So maybe this recording is helpful to someone if they want to know a little more about fasting, because it is a never-ending story. Thank you for your time. Champ them out. Today's date is April 5th, 2024. Time 11:56 a.m. Champ them out. Legacy. P.S., or I'll just say second half of the first recording.